Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I installed Parkmate PTS410V4 parking sensors on my Toyota RAV4. It is also called Steelmate in Europe, so you can find it by that name. I'll put a link in the description to this manual on their official site, so you can check what comes inside the box and all the instructions and preparations that have to be done before you will buy it and start installing. What you need is the drill. This drill bit here comes in with the sensors. You will need obviously a flat screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a 10mm spanner, 8mm socket to take off the bumper. You will also need soldering equipment, the soldering iron, the solder, the wire cutters, the electric tape, 3 and 5mm shrink wrap. Soldering clamps will come extremely handy for that. You will also need the lighter and something tiny and sharp like this thick needle, but you can also use the small flat screwdriver. Now to installation. First and foremost, take the negative terminal of your battery, not to short out the wires while taking them out or soldering them. Next, you will need to mark the position of the sensors according to this instruction manual. They should be spaced less than 45 centimeters apart, symmetrically with equal distance between them. You can see the installation I've done on this specific car with this specific bumper. I spaced them 40 centimeters apart, 2 centimeters from the top of the bumper. That gives you 53 centimeters ground clearance, which fits the specification. Drilling the openings is much easier when the bumper is taken off, so I'll show you how to do it. First, you will need to take out these 2 clips from underneath the bumper. They go there, hope you can see it, and there. There's nothing hard. You can see you just take the screwdriver, fit it underneath this bit in the middle, then turn it and it pops out and you just take it out. Next, you will need to take out 3 bolts underneath the fenders, here, here and here, with 8mm spanner. The same is on the right side. Next, with 10mm spanner, you will have to take out this tiny bolt right here that holds it right here. It's a bit tricky to get to, but you can just carefully take it out. Next, you will need to take out the clips here, here, here and here, like I shown you before. You just pop it up, pull it out, bam. And then you take your bumper by the side and pull it out. It's held by these plastic things. In here, the same is on the right side and your bumper goes right off. So now that your bumper is taken off, you will need to drill the openings. Nothing hard about that, just be mindful that the plastic is very soft, so don't do this, don't push too hard or do this too quickly, otherwise it will just melt. Then, using the knife, you need to take the shavings off and make a small bevel to make the insertion easier. Before installing the sensors, you need to pick the proper adapters for them. The set comes with 3 adapters, which are angled 10, 4 degrees and 0 degrees, like the one I'm holding here. You just slide them on, and as you can see, I had to take the biggest ones, the 10-degree ones, because the bumper is quite angled, so you get the proper leveling. I have chosen the left side of the car for the installation of the ECU, because there's just less stuff behind the panel. You can see behind the right panel there is quite crammed, and also it has this power socket, which will come handy later. After you install the sensors and run the wires through them to the left, to get them inside the cabin, you can use this rubber plug that's in here. Just drill a small hole and run wires through it. You can alternatively run wires through this exhaust, but you will need to put some protection around it, otherwise it would chafe on the sharp edges. So now wiring. According to this manual, there's a black wire that runs to ground, the red wire that runs to the positive of the reversing light, which serves as the power and a signal if your reversing light supplies constant flat 12 volts, or just a signal if it supplies less than 12 volts or has the pulse voltage, and the pink one that runs to the battery, plus in case reversing light can supply enough voltage to power the ECU. And that is what happened in this car. I couldn't make it run only from reversing light plus, so I had to connect all three of them. So where do you find that on this car? Easy, and you don't need to disassemble the tail light assembly. You can just pull all the wiring out. How do you do that? Easy. So this is how it looks like. This is your backup light, this is your blinker, and this goes to the controller for the backup light. Now you just unplug this thing from the top, you twist this counterclockwise, pull it out, twist this counterclockwise, pull it out, and then you carefully take out the wires from the clips that are holding them inside. Then you just pull the whole assembly here and disconnect this big connector. There you go. Now you have your wires. So there are your wires. This black one is the positive, the one that you will connect to the red, go into ECU. This is the ground one, the one that you will connect to the ground on the ECU, and I'll show you the pink one later. I have all of them soldered and put the shrink wrap, and just in case, I put electric tape on top of it. You can Google how to solder wires. There's a wealth of materials on how to do that on the internet. Just be mindful what you will need. So now to the 12 volts. I connected it to the plus 12 on the rear power socket. You can unplug it. You can see that the wire, the positive wire, is unfortunately you cannot really see it. It's white, pure white, while the ground is black and white, so don't mistake them. I decided not to cut the wire to solder it. I just carefully removed some of the wire coating and solder this wire on top of it. To put the heat shrink, you will need to disassemble this piece right here. How would you do that? You take this sharp and tiny tool that you've got, you pry open the middle like that, hold the connector, hope you can see it, with this pin down, you pry it open and remove this bit right here. Now, holding connector like that, you will see that deep inside this opening there is a plastic plate that you can just put down, and then you just pull on it and this will pop right out, and there it is. As you can see, you can do all of this without removing the back trim. If for some reason you don't want to run the wire to the display all the way down to your instrument panel, and you want to just keep the buzzer somewhere in the back. So as you can see, I have the beeper and the screen installed on my dashboard. How would you go about running the wire from the dashboard to the controller which is in the back? I'll show you. So in order to do that, you will need to take out all the trim in your car, namely this thing there, which is held in place by the screw right here. Then you just pop it off. This thing here, which you pop it off just by hand because it's not held by anything significant. Next, this thing, you will need to undo the bolt. It's 14mm bolt that's holding the seat belt in place, and pop it off by hand like that. Next, you will need to undo this bit that sits in here. You just unclip it manually. Keep attention to these clips, they sometimes just pop off and stay in place. You need to take them out by yourself and clip them back like that. So the trickiest part is this trim right here. In order to take it out, you will need to take out this huge plastic piece that's held in place by 4 screws here and here and there and there. They go here, here. You unscrew them, then just pop it off manually. Again, keeping attention to these clips. Next, you will need to remove this plastic piece. It's held in place just by clips. Then on this part, you will need to remove screws here, here, and here. You will also need to remove the bolts that's holding the luggage hook here, and one bolt that's holding this seat belt right there. Next, you need to pry this plastic cover that's covering the handle. You just pry it and pull, and it just pops out easily. Then you just tear it apart like that. It's holding by these clips right here, that one right there, and don't forget to remove the connector for your power socket. So now running the wire is extremely easy. There is actually a lot of space behind this white cover. I didn't even take it off and didn't take off the dash. You just carefully navigate the end of the wire through the opening right there. There is a lot of space in there, so you will have no problems doing that. Your hand can easily slip in there, so you can navigate it by fingers. Then you run it all the way through these plastic clips that hold the wiring in place so it doesn't wiggle around. You run it through this bit right there, these clips, this underneath this clip, then run it up there. In a couple of places you can use the cable ties to actually keep it in place, but I decided not to because I'm lazy. So now you just connect it to your ECU that's sitting in here, and this is actually what I've been talking about. This is the wiring for your rear. This is the power socket wires, and bam, now you have everything set up and you just need to put everything back in and enjoy your parking sensors.